John Delaney, and I am the Commission's designated presiding officer for this hearing. Today is November 7th, 2023, and it's approximately 1:15 p.m. And this is the date and time that's scheduled for the virtual hearing on docket number 23-2642-01, which is the petition of TerraCom Inc., DBA Maxsip, MAXSIP, second word TEL, TEL, for designation as an eligible telecommunication carrier in the state of Utah and to participate in the Utah Universal Service Fund. And we're here to consider the settlement stipulation filed by the parties. Everyone in the right location?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Why don't we start with appearances, and I will start with the applicant asking applicant's counsel to identify himself and his client representative and his client.
Thank you. My name is Lance Steinhardt. I'm the attorney for TerraCom Inc., DBA Maxsip Tel. My business address is 1725 Windward Concourse, Suite 150 in Alpharetta, Georgia, 30005. My witness today is David Tatum.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How about for the division? Will whomever for the division, it sounds like maybe Mr. Grecu is representing the division today. If you'll introduce yourself and your witness for this proceeding and the entity that you represent.
Good afternoon. Patrick Grecu and Patricia Schmidt, Assistant Attorneys General, representing the Division of Public Utilities. And our witness today is Ron Slusher.
Thank you very much. And for the Office of Consumer Services, if you will identify yourself, the entity who you are representing, and your witness, please.
Yes, Robert Moore, Assistant Attorney General, representing the Office of Consumer Services. With me today as our witness is Alex Ware.
Okay, great. Did you get that okay, Tamara?
Yes.
Okay. Do all y'all have any preliminary matters that need to be addressed?
No, thank you. Nothing from the petitioner.
Okay.
Or applicant.
Okay, hearing nothing from anybody else, the only preliminary matter I will raise is we do have a court reporter with us today, and we want to make sure that the record is appropriate. So please make sure that you're speaking at an appropriate pace and as clearly as you can, as well as loudly enough. Everyone sounds like your volume is appropriate. If there are any problems that the court reporter is having with pace, articulation, or volume, I'm welcoming her to interrupt and to stop and get it straightened out, okay? Okay, great. Well, we are here on this matter, and it is the applicant's application, so I will ask the applicant to proceed, Mr. Steinhardt.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, and thank you for your time today. I'd like to call my witness and ask that he be sworn. Can you please state your name for the record?
My name is David Tatum.
And would you like to take his oath at this point?
I will. Good afternoon again, Mr. Tatum.
Good afternoon.
Do you swear to tell the truth today?
I do.
Okay, thank you. You're sworn. Counsel, proceed.
Yes. Mr. Tatum, can you state and spell your name for the record, please?
David Tatum, D-A-V-I-D-T-A-T-U-M.
And Mr. Tatum, what is your business address?
Business address is 6650 East Brainerd Road, Suite 200, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37421.
And Mr. Tatum, what is your position with TerraCom?
The Chief Financial Officer and Corporate Secretary.
Thank you. And the testimony that we filed in this docket, was it prepared by you or under your direction?
Yes.
And if you had to make any changes right now, would you like to make any changes to the testimony?
No, I reread the testimony and it is still correct as of
Thank you.
today.
So if I asked you the same questions today, your testimony would be the same, correct?
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. And at this time, would you like to adopt a petition and your prior pre-file testimony as your testimony in this hearing today?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to admit the testimony and a petition into the record, please.
Thank you. Any objection from the division?
No objection.
How about for the office? Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, your motion's granted.
Right. Thank you very much. And Mr. Tatum, could you give a quick summary of TerraCom's position in this docket?
Yes, my position is that the information and the documentation in both the petition, and my written testimony demonstrates that TerraCom meets both the state and federal qualifications for designation as an ETC to offer Lifeline to qualified households in Utah and to participate in the Utah Universal Service Fund.
Thank you, Mr. Tatum. And is it true that you believe the stipulation is just and reasonable in result and in the public interest?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much. I would turn Mr. Tatum over for cross-examination at this point.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do you have any cross-examination or other questions for the witness?
No questions.
Okay, Mr.
Nope.
Moore, anything?
No questions.
Okay,
Excuse me.
that's fine. I've got two questions. And I'll pose them probably to all witnesses, I'm not sure. But Mr. Tatum, there's a reference in both the petition and in the stipulation regarding the 5th revised compliance plan. Do you know what I'm speaking of when I say that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And I noted that it was filed March 1st, 2023 with a request for an expedited decision. What is the status of that 5th compliance plan as you sit here today?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Steinhardt. I honestly, today, I don't know what the status of that is.
That's an acceptable answer, sir. I'm asking you, and if you don't know, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Following up on that, however, there is the discussion with that 5th, well, it's also in the petition and the settlement stipulation that the proposed change in ownership of TerraCom. What effect, if any, will that proposed change in ownership of TerraCom have on Utah consumers?
Generally, it should be a very positive effect. Maxsip is in a better financial position than is TerraCom as a standalone entity. Maxsip has some programs that they are already placing in other states in the U.S. that should be of interest and of value to qualified households in Utah. Simply put, they have more cash than we do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't have any additional questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Tatum.
You're welcome.
Why don't we move to the division? Mr. Greeku, if you would like to call Mr. Slusher.
Thank you. The division would like to call Mr. Slusher.
Good afternoon, Mr. Slusher. Do you swear to tell the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You are sworn. Please proceed.
Mr. Slusher, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Ron Slusher. S as in Sam, Lusher.
And by whom are you employed?
I'm employed by the Division of Public Utilities.
And what is your business address?
My business address is Heber M. Wells Building, 160 East, 300 South, 4th floor, Salt Lake City, Utah.
And what is your position with the division?
I am a utility technical consultant,
And how long have you worked there?
just shy of 20 years.
Could you provide an overview of your educational background?
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree in computer science.
And could you please briefly describe some of your work experiences relevant to this docket?
I have participated in numerous telecom applications for, mine went blank, CPCNs. And I know you're going to ask me what that stands for, and it's Certified Public Telephone Provider, and water companies and power regulation for Rocky Mountain Power.
And have you participated in this docket on behalf of the division?
Yes,
Did you review the company's petition and supporting exhibits and its pre-filed testimony?
I have.
And did you participate in the settlement negotiations that resulted in the settlement stipulation currently before the commission?
Yes, I did.
And did you have the opportunity to review the settlement stipulation itself?
Yes,
Is it the division's position that the settlement stipulation is just and reasonable in result?
yes, it is.
And based upon your knowledge and experience with the division, do you believe that approving the settlement stipulation would be just, reasonable, and in the public interest?
Yes,
Do you have a summary to share that provides the division support for approval of the settlement stipulation?
I do.
Please proceed.
The Division of Public Utilities recommends the Public Service Commission approve the stipulation and settlement agreement as filed by TerraCom, Inc., DBA Maxsip Tel, the Division, and the Office of Consumer Services. There are a number of elements in this stipulation that the division would like to highlight for the commission. TerraCom is a commercial mobile radio service provider and a common carrier that provides prepaid wireless telecommunication services to consumers using underlying wireless networks of AT&T Mobility LLC and T-Mobile USA Inc. on a wholesale basis. TerraCom seeks designation as an eligible telecommunications carrier, or ETC, for the purpose of receiving federal universal lifeline support for qualified Utah customers, federally enhanced tribal universal support services for qualified Utah customers, and lifeline support from Utah Universal Service Fund for qualified customers. TerraCom meets the requirements for federal ETC designation and for receiving state lifeline support from the Utah Universal Service Fund. In its lifeline and link-up reform order, the FCC granted forbearance from owner facilities requirement contained in section 214E1A of the Federal Act to carriers seeking lifeline only ETC designation, subject to certain conditions, including FCC approval of compliance plan. As a condition for this forbearance, TerraCom filed a compliance plan with the FCC, which the FCC approved on May 25th, 2012. TerraCom filed its fourth revision compliance plan on October 3rd of 2016, which the FCC approved on November 8th of 2016, and of identifying a transfer of control and making a revision to comply with the rule changes since the 2012 Lifeline Reform Order. TerraCom filed its 5th revised compliance plan, which remains pending, and as required by the FCC due to the proposed change in ownership, TerraCom's described in its position in direct testimony. TerraCom's petition to provide the change in ownership will not close until all regulatory approvals have been obtained, including approval for the 5th revised compliance plan. The services offered by TerraCom to low-income Utah customers meet or exceed both the FCC's Lifeline minimum service standards and the Commission's Utah Universal Service Fund plan requirements. Services offered by TerraCom for non-tribal customers include 1,583 voice minutes, unlimited text messages, and 4.5 gigabytes of data per month. For tribal customers, TerraCom offers 1,583 voice minutes, unlimited text messages, and 10 gigabytes of data per month. Both options will have zero cost to the customers after application of Lifeline and Universal Fund support. As discussed in the stipulation, TerraCom agrees to include additional requirements in its provision of Lifeline Universal Service Fund's offering. TerraCom will use a Utah-specific fact sheet that provides customers with concise and complete information about the services they will receive. TerraCom will comply with all applicable state service, quality, and consumer protection requirements. If making any changes to its Lifeline offering, TerraCom will timely file a notice with the division and the office describing these changes. TerraCom acknowledges that approval of the petition and ongoing receipt of Utah Universal Service Fund support are conditioned upon the verifying payments of all applicable state and local regulatory fees, including but not limited to universal service fees, emergency service, and regulated services. Because TerraCom meets the federal requirements for ETC designation, will follow applicable service quality rules, pay all applicable regulatory fees, offer services that meet or exceed the requirements outlined by the FCC and the Commission, and has agreed to use its Utah-specific fact sheet. It is the division's position that the stipulation is just and reasonable in result and in the public interest. The division recommends the Commission approve the stipulation and settlement agreement as submitted by the parties. This concludes my summary.
Thank you. At this point, if I may, I'd like to make a motion to admit the settlement stipulation that was filed on November 1st, 2023.
Applicant, Mr. Steinhardt, any objection to that motion?
No, thank you. We support the motion.
Okay, Mr. Moore, any objection to that motion?
No objection, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The motion is granted. The stipulation is admitted.
Thank you. At this point, the witness is now available for cross-examination and hearings from the presiding officer.
Thank you very much. Mr. Steinhardt, any questions or cross-examination or other questions for Mr. Slusher?
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Moore, any questions from the office?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Slusher.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Moore, why don't we have the office's presentation? If you'll call your first witness, please.
The Office of Consumer Services calls Alex Ware to the stand, or calls Alex Ware and asks that he be sworn.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ware.
Good afternoon.
Pretend you're on the stand. Do you swear to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. You're sworn. Please proceed.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Alex Ware. That's ALEXWARE. And I think that's what you asked for, right?
That's correct. What is your business address and how are you employed?
My business address is 160 East, 300 South, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm a utility analyst with the Office of Consumer Services.
In your capacity as utility analyst, have you reviewed the application and the testimony filed in this docket?
Yes.
Were you involved in the negotiations resulting in the settlement stipulation that is the subject of this hearing?
Yes, I was.
Have you reviewed the final draft of the settlement stipulation?
Yes, I have.
In your opinion, is the settlement stipulation taken as a whole just and reasonable in result?
Yes.
Have you prepared a statement summarizing the Office of Consumer Services position on the settlement stipulation?
Yes, I have.
Please proceed.
TerraCom, doing business as Maxsip petitioned in this case to be designated as an eligible telecommunications carrier with a lifeline offering in the state of Utah, to receive federal lifeline support, and to participate in the Utah Universal Service Fund. TerraCom's Utah Lifeline program offering of 1,583 voice minutes and 4.5 gigabytes of data each month meets or exceeds the minimum requirements for a wireless telecommunications provider to receive lifeline funds. And the addition to the offering of unlimited text messages each month meets Utah-specific requirements and adds value for potential lifeline customers in Utah. TerraCom Wireless will offer tribal customers 1,583 voice minutes, unlimited text messages, and 10 gigabytes of data monthly. The OCS believes that the stipulation before the Commission is just and reasonable in result and in the public interest, and recommends that the Commission approve it. That concludes my statement.
Mr. Ware is now available for cross and questions from the hearing officer.
Thank you very much. For the division, any cross-examination or other questions?
No question from the division, excuse me.
Thank you. Mr. Steinhardt, any cross-examination or other questions for Mr. Ware?
Oh, thank you. No questions.
Okay, and I have no questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Ware.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else that we need presented here today on the record?
Nothing from the applicant. Thank you.
Okay. I'm seeing one head shake. Mr. Moore, nothing else from the office, correct? Okay. Well, thanks everybody for your effort to be prepared for today's hearing and the effort you put into being able to log on. I'm glad we had it. We'll issue an order in due course and we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
Everyone
you.
have a great day.